we're going to get started with our KidsPark leader training. And what a way to start with some giveaways. So I'm the icebreaker. Let's do some giveaways. Who's been volunteering in the kids ministry department for over 5 years? Keep your hands up if you've been volunteering over 7 years. Keep your hands up if you've been volunteering over 10 years. If you've been volunteering over 12 years. Go, Sandy. Over 15. Over 18. Over 20. 20 years. Do you have any memorable moments in ministry that come to you? Maddie, you want to share any of like what keeps you coming back?
Yeah. Probably the greatest thing that keeps me coming back. I've been doing the music for a lot of years, but one of the things on Wednesday night when I would come in and I would see a few little girls up here doing the moves and singing the songs, saying, I sing this on the playground all the time. I'm like, that's much better than Beyonce, so I'm going to keep coming and teaching to you.
Amen. I think we all agree that's much better. Who is the youngest volunteer in kids ministry? Hands up if you are younger than 10. Okay. If you're younger than 9. I think we got it anyways, right, Madeline?
All right, Madeline.
Buy your mom a Big or get yourself a kid smoothie. They're pretty awesome. Madeline, come on. Why do you volunteer?
Because it's fun. It's fun.
I love that we have kids volunteering. I think the more we get kids in our church serving, the more connected they're going to be. Who can give me, who wants to come up and just tell me a reason that they're here today and volunteering in kids ministry? Just a little quick tidbit. Anybody interested in why you would spend your time here in kids ministry? Anybody? This is that bold moment to be scary and tell your story of why you're here.
Yeah, it seems like such a simple thing, but in growing my faith, I've learned more from children than I have from, sorry, Pastor Dave, really more, not from God's Word, because that's clearly where it comes, but, when a child comes and shares a scripture with you or something that God's put on their hearts, there is such power in that. And you have to expose yourself. And the only way to get vulnerable or comfortable with them being comfortable with me, is to be there and know them and get down in the dirt with them, get dirty with them, because then they relate to that they are talking with me. I'm not talking at them, and, the do's and don'ts and things, and it is just the greatest grandma time in the world.
What's your last name? Osman. Okay, all right. There you go. I think we talk a lot about in church having relationships and that being really important, but also taking the next step and talking about Jesus in our relationships. So I love that Andrea was able to come up here. Okay, so here's the big one. I need all the kids up here with me. We're going to have a little powwow, kids. Come here. All right. And then you're going to come and tell me three. All right. This is the big one, everybody. I need Sandy up here. This giveaway is called Who Can Dance Like Sandy? You got some music for us, or should we just throw her out there?
Not one that I know the song, but I don't have planned movements. So We got to stand up first of all, right? Okay, so right now, just nice and easy. Get it going. Now you can start just stretching it out.
I need clapping. Who's the winner? Thanks for having fun.
Well, welcome everybody. My name is Elena Marr. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Children's Ministry Director here at KidsPark, and I am so happy that all of you are here today. I hope that it equips you for the coming year. I hope that it's fun, and most of all, I just hope you feel encouraged in the important work that you are doing here. So I just want to say thank you for saying yes to serving in kids ministry. Thank you for being here today and making it a priority. And just thank you for what you do every Sunday morning and Wednesday night with our kids. And you are truly an answer to prayer, and I say that completely genuinely because at the beginning of the summer I always pull out the schedule for the coming school year, and I just have all these blank Sundays, and I'm like, how on earth am I going to find all these people? But the cool thing is that it's really God who provides the people, and not only does He provide them, I really feel like He handpicks exactly who He wants in each role, and it's not by accident that you are with the kids that you're with. So thanks for being here, and let's open up with the word of prayer. God, we are beyond grateful that you have allowed each one of us to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Thank you for the privilege of serving the kids at Forest Park. I pray a blessing over each person here today. As they give their time, energy, and resources to serve you and to serve our kids, would you pour into their lives and use this ministry to bless them in return? Remind them how valuable they are and that you have specifically chosen each one of them. God, may you speak to our hearts through today's training, equip and encourage us. Pray that every word said here today will bring you honor and glory. We surrender our time together to you, and it's in your name that we pray. Amen. All right, so later on, in just a little bit, we're going to have a chance to break up into smaller groups based on where we're serving and just talk more about practical details for this year. But I just want to start now, while we're all together for a few minutes, just talking more broadly about the bigger picture of why we're here. And most of the ideas that I'm going to be talking about come from the book Lead Small, which is put out by Orange, the curriculum that we use. And I think I gave most of you a copy of it at the end of last year, but if you didn't get one, let me know. It's an easy read, but I think it's really worthwhile, and I think you'll enjoy it. So I want you to go ahead and pull out that green bag that's underneath your chair. There's tons of stuff in there. There's like a schedule for this morning and a few do other things, but right now you can get out this sticky note and a pen. And on your sticky note, I want you to write down what is your goal or purpose for showing up to serve in kids ministry. So what made you say yes to serving? Why do you serve? There's no right or wrong answer. Just think about it for a minute and go ahead and write down why. And when you're done writing, I want you just to share with someone sitting beside you what you wrote down. Okay, would anyone like to be brave and share what they wrote down or what their neighbor wrote down? Becca, you want the microphone? No? Okay. Sure, yeah, so we can see you.
I like to help out the nursery because as a mom, I had 6 kids, 6 and under, and there was many Sundays that we didn't have nursery when we went to church. There was many Sundays that I was out without the kids and didn't get to really enjoy the service. So I like to help in the nursery so that moms can enjoy their service and get their time with God.
I like doing it because I like being an example for my own children, as well as forming relationships with their friends. Anyone else want to share?
I will. I said, because I love and I've always loved kids, and I didn't even really think about this until now, but I would like to be better at sharing Christ with kids and really with all people, because I always felt like my faith, I'm a little bit too personal with my faith, and I share with my kids, but I feel like sometimes I didn't do as good of a job as I wish I had, and so I'd like to get better at just being able to share Christ with people.
Well, thank you all for sharing. It's beautiful to hear the reasons God has put on our hearts to serve in this ministry. And this is actually something that our children's ministry team thought through and prayed through more as a whole a few months ago. Like, why do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do here in kids ministry? And we came up with this. Our goal is to lead kids and families to know God's love and to follow Him. And it sounds really simple, like leading our kids to follow Jesus, but it might not always seem like that when we're in the middle of it, or we wonder, how do we actually get there? Because when you're like changing a dirty diaper in the nursery, or like breaking up an argument about who gets to use what color marker, or trying your best to follow along with Sandy's motions, like you might wonder, what are we doing right now to lead kids to follow Jesus? But the truth is that all these simple things really do matter, because the best way for our kids to know Jesus is to know someone who knows Him, and that person is you. And so I just want you to think about this for a second. God Himself felt the need to show who He was to people who couldn't physically see Him by sending someone they could see, and that person was Jesus. So God Himself became a man to prove how much he loved us. And he used people then to show his love for us, and he still uses people today. My guess is that you've probably experienced this in your own faith walk. My guess is that what led you to grow in your faith was probably not an amazing church facility or a beautiful Sunday school curriculum. My guess it was the people who poured into you and invested in you and showed you Jesus' love. And that's exactly what we have the opportunity to do for our kids here in Kids Ministry. And so I want you to take a look at this Bible verse. It says that all of them may be one, Father, just as you are in me and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. Then the world will know that you sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. So it's a lot of words and might be a little confusing at first, but this is Jesus praying, and he's actually saying that one day the world will know that he loves them, even though they can't see him, because they can see the people who are following him and who love him. And we can't probably make that type of impact on the lives of every kid. We probably can't even do it for a large group of kids, but we can do it for a few kids. And that's what we mean by leading small. And that's why this year we're kind of like restructuring so that each of our grades have their own small group and their own consistent leaders pouring into them. So basically, all of that to say, what you do matters. And when you change a child's diaper and take care of their physical needs, you're showing them that church is a safe place where they can know God's love. And when you settle arguments with kindness and with patience, you show kids that they matter to you and they matter to God. And when you do crazy dance moves at the gathering, you're engaging a child's interest and showing them more about God's character. And what you do matters, all these things matter, because one day the little people that we're serving will be big people, and they're going to stand before Jesus one day, and the only thing that matters is their relationship with him. So we're about to break off. So all that to say, when you have Sundays where you come in and you would really rather be sitting in service that day, or you feel like you're just filling a slot on the schedule, or just nothing is going right in your classroom, just remember that, and let's remind each other of that too, because I know in the middle of a busy Sunday morning, it's super easy to forget. So we are going to just about to break off into small groups, but before we do that, I have a short video that I want to show you. And this video actually is just about the Lead Small book. If you read it, you know there's 5 main principles that it talks about of how we can help our kids to follow Jesus. So this video just gives a brief little overview of those 5 principles. But if you haven't read it, I encourage you to read more in depth in there. But this is just a nice little overview of it. And it talks specifically for small group leaders, but I think in any capacity that you're serving kids, in nursery or preschool or wherever you are, I think hopefully you can find something that applies to you.
So, you're a small group leader, an SGL. But what does that mean? We're here to explain it using the language of the young. Emojis. Emoji. Emojis. Doesn't matter. Okay, I know what you're thinking. And no, being a small group leader really isn't that scary. As a small group leader, you're a little bit of a friend, parent, coach, and teacher. Not really any of those things, but a little bit of all of those things. Basically, it's your goal to influence kids to have an authentic faith. And if you want kids to have a big faith, you have to lead small. So what does it mean to lead small? It means strategically investing in the lives of a few over time, so you can help them build an authentic faith. And there are 5 things you can do to make that happen. Number 1, be present. Connect their faith to a community. Show up predictably. This means be consistent. Show up for group time every time, or as much as you can. Besides, there's usually some perks. Show up mentally too. Engage with your few. That means leaving phones, texts, emails, floppy disks, fax machines, whatever, at the door. Show up randomly too. Surprise them outside of group, like if they're soccer, basketball, football, tennis, baseball, golf, rugby game, or maybe a play, dance recital, singing competition, band practice, art show. Hey, sometimes good old snail mail works too. Now, number 2, create a safe place. Clarify their faith as they grow. Lead the group. Create a foundation of acceptance. You get to guide your few through some tension, but ultimately help them value acceptance, confidentiality, and honesty. Respect that process. Remember, in the faith process, there is no finish line. There's no medal, no trophy. It's a continual process, and everyone goes at a different pace. Guard the heart. Tough stuff will happen in group. Sometimes you won't be able to do anything about it, but sometimes you can. And remember, if they are being hurt or hurting themselves or hurting others, do seek help from someone in an authority position. Number 3, partner with parents. Nurture an everyday faith, a faith that exists outside of small group. Cue the parent. Let them know who you are and prompt them with what you're talking about in group. That way they can keep talking about it at home. And honor the parent. If you're not on the parent side, you're not on the kid's side. Reinforce the family. Include them whenever possible. Remember, your role is temporary. Theirs is lifelong. Number 4, make it personal. Inspire their faith by your example. Remember, the most important person you lead is you. So live in community. Find a group that's in your stage of life to talk open and honestly with. And you're going to have to set priorities. In order to inspire authentic faith in your few, you must first prioritize it in your own life, spiritually and relationally. And be real. It's important for your few to see the real you. So find ways to relate to them without compromising who you really are. And finally, number 5, move them out. Engage their faith in a bigger story. They will move on, so help them take their faith with them. Move them to someone else. Encourage other adult influences in their lives. Move them to be the church. Give them something significant to do, from passing out goldfish to planning a service project. Move them to what's next. Is it getting out of diapers, starting school, graduating kindergarten, moving to middle school, getting their driver's license, going to college? Whatever it is, prepare them for that next life transition. So hopefully this all helps you understand your role as a small group leader. But if it still seems a little overwhelming, just remember this one idea. Your few are not problems to be solved. They are people to be loved.
Okay, so before we break off, there's like 3 practical announcements that I want to share with all of you. First of all, one thing that I really want to be intentional about this year is praying together before Sunday mornings and Wednesday nights. And we tried to last year, but it was always kind of crazy. We tried to meet at like 6:15 on Wednesdays and 9:15 on Sundays, but it was always a little crazy as kids were coming in. So if you are able, I know many of you have young kids and it's just too hard to get here early, but if you do have weeks where you are available and you'd like to come, we're going to try to do like a leader huddle, we'll call it, at 9 o'clock on Sundays and at 6 o'clock on Wednesdays, and we'll just get to know each other better. We'll talk about prayer requests that we have, and we'll pray over the morning before it starts. Second thing, if you all can pull out your phone, if you brought one. If you don't have one, it's okay. You can just look at someone else's. And I want you to go into your app store and download this app, Planning Center Services, and it has a green icon just like that. And all you should have to do is put in your email address and it'll have you create a password. And you don't have to do it right now if you don't want to, but this app is going to be super helpful for you this year. You can look in it and see any Sunday of the year who is scheduled to serve. So you can click on any date. You could click on a date in April and see who's serving that Sunday. So it's helpful for you if you're wondering when you're serving, but it's also helpful if you can't serve on a certain day and you need to switch with someone. So if you can't serve your day, look on this app and see if you can find someone to switch with you. And there's also a long list of substitutes in those green bags I gave you. So if you can't find someone to switch, you can get one of the substitutes too, or you can always let me know if you're not able to find someone, and I'm happy to help you. But using this app, you can also find every person who serves in kids ministries' contact information. So you should be able to type in anyone's name, and their email address and phone number will come up, so it's easy to switch with someone if you need to. And the last thing is, we're going to use the same system this year that I did last year for giving lessons to you. So when you come into your classroom, you'll have a bin that looks like this. It just says, sure, you want to. Thank you. It just says the name of your class, and Sunday or Wednesday. And in it is like basic art supplies and a first aid kit, and this black folder. And then on one half of the folder is an overview for the month. So it just talks about like the topic for the month and what you'll be learning each week. And on this side of the folder is your lesson plans. So some of you like hard copies of your lessons, and you can, thanks Megan, you can always come early or the week before and grab your lesson out for the next week. They're in the resource room. Or I always email them to you too. But as always, you know your students best, and so if you want to edit your lesson or add or take things out, that's totally fine because you know your kids the best, and I trust you. And you're always welcome to use any of the resources in the resource room at the end of the hallway, but if you need anything specifically for the lesson, I'll already have it in your bin for you. So your materials and your lesson will be there. And in those brown cabinets, if you're in one of these elementary rooms, in those brown cabinets that are attached to the wall, there are Bibles, there are like Clorox wipes and paper towels and hand sanitizer and things like that. And there are just a bin of like games and clay and coloring books. So if you end early one day, or as kids are coming in, if you just want to have those things out that they can do, and it's a good chill thing that they can do, and you can catch up about how their week was. So I think that's all of the big stuff that I have for you. We're going to break out based on where we are serving. And our breakout leaders are all members of our children's ministry team. And this year we kind of re-envisioned how the team looked so that each of the members of the team are kind of overseeing, or we're going to call them coaches, over a certain area. So Vanessa is our nursery coach, and Megan Warren is our preschool coach. Susan Schechter is our Sunday morning elementary coach. The gathering coach is Sandy. And your coach is just someone who's there for you as a resource. They'll just get to know you. They're available to answer questions. They really invest specifically in whatever classroom you're in, so they're a great person to just have on your side. They're awesome. You should definitely, take advantage of knowing them and getting to know them. They're great ladies. All right, so that's all I have for you. Thank you again so much for coming. We're going to go to our breakouts now. I'm going to be at the check-in counter with the greeters, so if you have any questions on your way out, you can stop by the check-in counter and ask them on your way out. So,
will we be meeting in their like?
yes, so nursery team will be in the nursery.
Okay.
Preschool team is in the preschool room.
Okay.
Elementary Sunday morning people, so whether you're a large group teacher, a small group teacher, you'll be in here. Gathering teachers are right next door, that way, the next door over. Greeters are at the check-in counter, and if you're a substitute, go wherever you're most likely to sub. And 11 o'clock people too in the elementary, so you'll be here. Yeah. All right. Thank you.